Hello and welcome to this submission of Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater. I'm Joseph Joestar316 and I will be running European Extreme 90% on New Game Plus on the PS5. So we're just gonna get right into it. The time will start once I load my New Game Plus save file, which is right here. Which I'll be playing on New Style, which I'll talk about what that is later. European Extreme, which is the highest difficulty with a forced game over if discovered condition. So the time will start once I hit start, and it will end on the score screen, which, like in my prior submission for Glitchless, we could skip the credits finally after all these years, and we could just go directly to what the final time is with the rank, and the time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. And here comes the monologue.
World War II. The world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Alright, so like in my prior video for the Glitchless category, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta is a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid 3 on the Unreal Engine, which I'll be, playing this on the PS5. And so unlike my other video, this is going to be any percent. And quickly just summarizing what defines any percent in this game is just being the game as fast as possible, like however method you should choose. And the big takeaway in this game over the original is that there is a game-breaking glitch referred to as the airwalk glitch. It's what allows us to bypass certain obstacles, some locked doors, and, a couple of boss fights. So it's the fact that we can skip, key parts of the game is what defines any percent, whereas Glitchless is more of a, routine front-to-back speed run. So like in Glitchless, we're just going to be rolling everywhere because rolling is faster than running. It saves about 0.2 seconds every roll. It may seem like a very minor time save, but over the course of the game, it can add up to some, handful of seconds that you're glad to have than to lose it. Alright, so the first like 5.5 minutes are going to be fairly identical to Glitchless because we have to go through the Virtuous mission, where we have to get up to Sokolov, get him out, run into some snags, get thrown off a bridge, and, so on and so forth. So I'm playing on New Style, which is a MGS3-like aiming system, as well as, camera control. And by aiming system, it's mainly referring to the bullet drop that you have on the Mark 22 tranquilizer handgun. So at close to medium range, it's not as bad, but for longer range shooting, it is very challenging. So you do have to take the bullet drop into account. Like here, for example. Alright, then we're going to trink this guard in the back, roll into him. So just like in the original game, if you trink the guard at least once and then either roll into for a knockover, CQC, whatever the situation, it just does an instant knockout. Alright, so we're now in the area where Sokolov is being held. So just like before in Glitchless, we're just going to take this path on this fence line here. Shoot that guard in the head while firing off a stray round to get a guard behind that wall to use the radio, while then being oblivious to me rolling up and over that same wall.
This is HQ.
And then load the cutscene for
He's a member.
for Sokolov. Let's see, and I don't think I talked about what New Game Plus versus New Game covers. So New Game, in essence, is just like a fresh, file where you're starting from scratch. Whereas New Game Plus is you're loading in a completed save, which can have carryovers such as, certain weapons like the Patriot, the easy gun, the revolver, and camouflages like the sneaking suit, snake camo, animals camo, Cold War, things that you have from a prior completion that you don't have to reacquire. The scientist outfit you do have to get from Eva. So we do need that, as it's, for at least for this run, it's necessary. Alright, so we're done with curing Snake's injuries. And we will soon be making our way into the Snake Eater portion.
So how does it feel? Yesterday.
Yeah, don't worry, Major Zero asks that every time. How does it feel yesterday? Although I said I promise I wouldn't bring it up, but it happens so often that I guess it's hard to ignore it. Alright, so Black Before and Glitchless, we have to make our way up to Rosfet yet again to meet up with what was supposed to be Adam, one of the two NSA codebreaker agents. Instead, we're going to meet up with Eva, who not only gives us the Mark 22 tranquilizer handgun again, as well as an operator, which we briefly had, and then the boss shows up and, you know, dismantles it, throws it away, blows up the pod that we came in to create a distraction. So we're just gonna roll our way up to here, and then we're just gonna move off to the side to create noise for that guard to turn around and away. Because in years past, we were able to use the silent footsteps when holding up a grenade. Unfortunately, that no longer works in this game. So we just have to be a little more creative with getting past these guards, including being able to crouch walk, which will silence your footsteps just enough to be out of, you know, detection range. Okay, so we're coming up to Rosfet again. And now this is the point where it starts to branch out away from Glitchless. So it will reconvene at, you know, the Ocelot unit. But what happens from that point onward is what will change. Alright, so like before, we're not going to get the box because it's not as helpful. We're going to break this window so it'll be easier to, you know, execute this skip for the Ocelot unit. Okay, so we're only going to take out 3 out of the 10 Ocelot unit guards. So we're going to equip the Snake Camouflage, which is a overall good camo index to have regardless of the environment that you're in. We're going to equip the Essentials while we're moving the stuff we don't need. Wait for them to say move. Alright, I'm going to stand up on the bed here, wait for this guard to move over. Alright, trank them in the head very carefully. Don't want to create a ricochet. And then we're going to take out the sniper up top here. Climb up the ladder. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to change the graphics mode from performance to quality. Quality mode is where the game frame rate reduces down to 30 FPS. Whereas performance, it runs at 60 FPS. And what we're going to do here is we're going to open up the quick camo swap menu. And we're going to swap camouflage patterns at least 20 times. And what's going to happen is movement is being buffered for every swap. So it's going to make me go a little bit further each time I swap a camouflage pattern. And then once I come back onto Snake Camo and then let go, I go up and over the fence, and we're out. So that is the airwalk glitch. We'll be using that 2 more times. You know, one for skipping the pain, and the other for skipping, you know, the warehouse, the lab, meeting up with Granin, dealing with the fear, which is probably one of the biggest key takeaways with this glitch. Like I said, it was discovered fairly early on when this game came out. You know, a lot of members within the speedrunning community took notice and, you know, did a lot of vigilant testing and, you know, analysis. You know, tried it on multiple platforms across, you know, console on PS5, on X Series, on Steam, and, you know, came up with some, you know, optimized methods for using the airwalk as well as understanding how it works. All right, so we're gonna trank both of those dogs, like so, which is gonna make a guard from the other side take notice, and then it's gonna start moving them along faster. All right, so I equipped the snake camo because, like I said, it's a good overall camo index. And the brown face paint is for swimming. Just like in Glitchless, it, you know, negates the draining effect on your stamina when you're underwater. So you don't have to surface for air as much. And now we're making our way over to Ocelot. Yeah, so just like before, we're just rolling our way across Bolshaya Pass base. Trank this guard in the back. Technically, you could just roll into them and leave, but I just like tranking them in the back for safety. Alright, so I'm going to try to get an early shot with using the aim assist, so just bear with me a second. And I did not get it because I spammed it a little bit too fast, but that's okay. Alright, so we're gonna stun him, shoot him in the head, throw another stun. Alright, and then shoot him in the head again. We're gonna shoot the goat to make him mad. Shoot him in the head twice. And then try to get him out in the open. Ah, he got me. Alright, well, that's fine. You know, you can't get it every time, but one of the things that Delta has is aim assist, which allows for, you know, close lock-on, you know, opportunity, which for Ocelot, he is different from the original game, where instead of him running back towards the tree, he rolls off to the left. So with aim assist, you have a chance to try to get a shot on him before he moves, but it's not guaranteed. But at least it helps you, you know, secure the shot if you attempt it. All right, so now we're making up our way through the caverns. All right, and then normally this is where we would be encountering the Pain, who, like in my glitchless submission video, is a different fight from how he was in the original MGS3. Thankfully, we won't actually have to fight him at all. Alright, so what we're going to do now is equip the grenade camo, which is not going to be for fighting, but I'm going to be needing that later anyway. Equip the smokes. And then we're going to change the graphics mode to quality again, so I can get the 30 FPS. Alright, so I'm just going to get a little bit closer. So right about there. And we're going to do about 20 swaps again because, again, when you're on 30 FPS, every camouflage swap is building up momentum for Snake's movement while you have the camo, the quick camo swap menu open. Alright, so I'm just going to do this about 5 more times. Okay, and one more for good measure. And that is the paint skip. So what happened is, in this case, because I was on a somewhat flat terrain when I started doing the airwalk, it built up Snake's momentum on that plane where it just allows him to go horizontal, which is going to go up and over the trigger line for starting the Pain fight. And because we never actually touched the ground where that trigger line is, the Pain never loads, and the game just assumes that we beat him. Okay, and then we're going to do this again in the warehouse, which is going to be the biggest skip of the run. Which is also a little bit difficult to do, so I may have to focus for parts of it. because there'll be two parts to making it work. One is going to be the airwalk to get out of bounds and behind the locked door that goes to Soker Vieno, the forest leading to, you know, fighting the end. And then the other part is partially loading Snake inbound so I can have the loading zone generated so I can actually exit the warehouse. So again, we're just going to be swimming through the riverbed using the brown face paint so I don't have to surface for air. Just sticking to the lower right half side. And then before we reach the final spotlight, we're going to move over to the left. Because unlike in original MGS3, the guards' patrol timings are a little bit different. So the pathing is not always going to be like one-to-one with, you know, how it was run, you know, before. So it just makes life easier just by, you know, going off to the left. Alright, so we're gonna put this guy to sleep, and then shoot the barrel over there and there. And then what this does is it neutralizes all the remaining guards besides the one that I used the tranquilizer on. And then it damages the end, which, like in the original game, any damage that he sustains will carry over into the boss fight, so it will give me a slight advantage. Okay, so now we're coming up to the warehouse lab skip. Alright, which also skips the fear. So, once again, we're gonna swap it to quality mode. And then we're gonna crouch this time instead of be standing. And then, again, we're just gonna be doing... actually, we're gonna be doing 15 swaps this time instead of 20. So that was 1, 2... Alright, and the reason for this is that 20 is not really necessary, unlike the other two skips. So 15 is just enough to make this work. Okay, and then I'll do one more for good measure. Alright, excellent. So we're right behind what's normally a locked door because you need it from Grandin to get through the rest of the game. And if you were to try to run up these stairs and go out the door and, you know, pat yourself on the back, problem is there's no loading zone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up on this corner, throw a smoke grenade. Doesn't matter exactly what it is, but we use smokes just for convenience. We're going to throw it and try to get Snake to go up against the door so he partially loads his arm into the room. Alright, so this is what may take a few attempts to do this. Okay, so you see how part of his arm is through the door, that shoulder? And if I did this right, there it is. So what that does is, sorry, I had to adjust my splits there. So what that does is I jumped up and over the stairs into the section with the locked door. And the second part, which was throwing...
Snake.
Throwing a smoke grenade while in the corner between that door and that wall, so it wedges Snake in just enough to load in that room to acknowledge that Snake had somehow transitioned from the interior of that warehouse into that hallway, so that it indicates that I'm progressing through the game, because again, I don't have the key from Grandin. That door is still locked. So we're just going through the rest of the game as intended, you know, pretending I did meet up with Grandin, faced off against the fear, and so on and so forth. But we really didn't. Alright, just knock out these last set of guards. Have the smokes ready to go.
Come in, HQ.
This is HQ.
Patrol here.
Okay, so the end, just like on Glitchless, is, you know, just as challenging. The only advantage I have here is that I have substantially way more stamina going in than I normally would have, and I think I spot him. So he's on the left. Where he spawns in New Game Plus is either on that cliff or on this cliff off to the right, which on New Game Plus it's random each time. Alright, so I'm just gonna try to line this up. Then he'll take a return shot. I'm gonna fire 3 more times if I can. Okay, nice. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is a setup which is gonna make the end reappear in a corner away from me. And what we're doing now is we're buying time for him to leave and despawn. And we're gonna punch kick this corner about 9 times just for safety. And then we're gonna throw a smoke here, make a lot of noise with the Patriot. Now, if I did this correctly, he should reappear past that tree. And then we're gonna throw a stun and try to do a hold up. All right, so we're gonna go 1, 2.
Freeze.
All right, very good. All right, then when he gets on the ground, we're gonna go 1, 2. Throw a stun, but just at him, but, you know, or I'm sorry, not at him, but near him, which, okay, unfortunately I didn't get that part. So we'll have to improvise a little bit. See if I can just get a couple more hits on him, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lure him back with the Feigned Death Pill.
What's going on? It's over already. What a disappointment.
It's like, oh, just kidding.
You're alive?
Alright, so depending on how he reacts to that, he'll either run away, which is what he's doing now, or sometimes he'll try to run out of the area, which is what we don't want. Alright, so we're gonna throw the stun, look away so I don't get blinded. Believe me, I blinded myself more times than I'd like to admit trying to do this. Alright, let's see, we're just gonna go next. Okay, my bad, I thought I was actually closer to him. 1 more. Okay, and that was the end. It was a little messy, but, you know, it happens. But the idea is that we keep the end in the same area without ever actually having to leave to pursue him. Part of that method of, you know, spawning him back in using the, you know, the tree and making noise and the smoke grenade, it's a similar method that was done in the original MGS3. But because the ends, you know, hit mechanics are different, we can't loop them like we used to. So we loop them with different variations of, you know, the stuns, the MK2, you know, smoke grenades if necessary. And once again, we're going to be treated to the highlight of the game, the ladder, featuring the re-recorded version of Snake Eater by Cynthia Harrell.
With darkness and silence through the night, what a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you.
Alright, once again, thank you, Cynthia, for singing to us all the way up the ladder. Alright, so we're now in the mountains. Where we gotta go up to the mountain summit to meet up with Eva. Alright, so the pathway up there is gonna be pretty much identical to Glitchless, where we're just gonna crouch run our way up. It's not as fast as some other methods, but it is, it's fairly consistent. Because with the animal's camel now, which, like before in the original game, it studies your aim regardless of, stamina level. It also provides a very, very generous camo index when you're in the mountain region. Okay, so we're gonna shrink this guard up top, and then try to get that one in the distance. Oh wow, very nice. Alright, then we're gonna grab these stuns here, because we need them for the end game. Alright, and so just like before, we're just making our way through. Oh, sorry, Vulture. No vultures were harmed in the making of this speedrun. And same goes for the doggos. Alright, so I'm gonna try to get this guard about to go up the ramp. Okay, he should be down. Okay, there we go. I must have hit him in the arm twice. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the RPG. That's going to be used for not only the Shagahai, but it's going to be used for the Sorrow later. And then we're just going to roll into this guy, so that we don't have to bother, dealing with them with, shooting them. And we're going to take a step forward, which is going to get that guard's attention in the trench. So he looks, off to the side and not up, towards where we're crouch running. Alright, and then we'll just try rolling our way up through here. Okay, so I got here a little bit early. Normally he would be turning away by the time I would get up here, but that's okay. Alright, so we're finally at the mountaintop ruins where we meet up with Eva. We get intel as to where Sokolov was taken. She also leaves some instant noodles behind for Snake, which we will be using one of those. Because even though, yes, I'm wearing the animal's camo, so my aim is not compromised, but what I will need the stamina for is using the spider camo, which is the Fear's camouflage if you beat him non-lethally. And what his camouflage does is that it gives you a high camo index rating regardless of where you are, what position you're in, at the cost of your stamina. And given my stamina is very low, it wouldn't last for very long.
I want some more.
So we're gonna give Snake a treat and just, have him chow down some instant noodles. Alright, so now we're gonna be making our way down to the Fury. Just like in the original MGS3, he has a very scary boss fight. Depending on, how he reacts to certain things. But we'll try our best. Alright, so just gonna roll over these stairs. And then over this railing. Alright, so like before, he's gonna fly up and over your head, and he's gonna go either to the left or the right, which is random every time. Okay, I think he went left. Alright, there he is. Okay, that's what I was hoping he wouldn't do, but we'll try to recover this while being on fire. Okay, he moved. Yeah, this is what I was hoping he wouldn't do, but that's just the nature of the Fury. You never know what exactly he's gonna do. Ooh. Wow, are you serious? Wow, I honestly cannot believe he got me through that. That really caught me, yeah, by surprise there. But that's alright. Like I said, it's a temperamental fight. Yeah, he's behind the corner. Alright, so same thing, we're just gonna tap him 3 times with the Mosin. It does a lot of damage. And then we're gonna try to get him before he zips away again. Alright, and then when he starts charging his jetpack, we'll just get in another shot, which I went a little bit too early that time. Okay, this guy needs to make up his mind on when he's gonna land. Alright, so I swapped to the Mark II at the very end because I need to conserve ammo for the Mosin later on in the game. So unfortunately for me, I was met with probably the worst RNG I could have imagined for not only a speedrun, but for a submission, no less. But it's just like in the original game. Like, you never know exactly what he's going to do. But what we're going to do here is we're going to swap into the spider camo. And as you can see, I get a very high camo index, regardless of the fact that I'm standing upright rolling. I mean, quite, you know, in plain sight. And then we're going to be doing this to get through the southeast and northeast sections of Groznygrad, because we need to get into the western wing, through the Eastern's weapons lab, through the main hangar, to get to Sokolov. So we're going to throw a smoke at that guard. Once it goes off, I'm just going to roll on through. Swap back to the animals camo so I get the steady aim again. Okay, and I think we're good. Just double checking what I have equipped there. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trank this guard 3 times, followed by a stray round in the distance so that Rykov focuses his attention on that guard that was just knocked out and completely ignoring me, just rolling on through. Alright, and then we're gonna trank him once while he's walking. Grab a hold of him. And we're just gonna aggressively persuade him to go to the locker so we can, you know, grab his outfit. You know, because we need to be disguised as Rykov in order to get access to the western wing. And by tranking him preemptively, when you throw him down with CQC, it just automatically puts him to sleep. Alright, so now we have Rykov's outfit, along with the mask. And now we look the part. Alright, so now we're just going to be rolling our way through the main hangar, and there's the Shagohod. And then in here is the western wing, where Sokolov is held, and it's under armed guard. I'm sure they don't mind seeing their superior officer just doing some rolls casually down the hallway. Well, didn't seem to bother them. Impressive roll today, comrade. Alright, so now we met up with Sokolov. He tells us that, you know, his work with the Shagohod is done. You know, tells us, you know, how we can try to destroy it. And Vulcan shows up, spoils the party. You know, some things happen. We're captured.
Tell me,
And,
who have you been talking to?
He doesn't know what you're talking about.
I mean, Vulcan's just punching some watermelons, right?
Please, stop this!
Who is Khrushchev's lapdog?
How can you do this?
I mean, he is punching watermelons, isn't he?
Did it to someone.
Never do it
You!
like that.
And then he punched a drum barrel to vent his frustration while punching more melons.
I guess he's dead.
Oh, rip Sokolov. But just like in the original game, we can't skip the torture. But in Delta, we can no longer just pull up the side window open to negate any damage that Vulcan inflicts on us, but doesn't matter.
Now then, I hope you'll prove more entertaining than he was.
Alright, well, I'll try my best, Vulcan.
But first, let's take a look at your body, shall we?
Alright, take a look at this.
What a beautiful body you have, like a newborn baby. But not for long.
Okay, I am very disturbed by that.
Well then, let's get started. What is your target?
To finish this submission video?
Is it the Shagohod
Wait, weren't you listening?
or Sokolov?
I said it was
Maybe
just
it's
the
a
submission.
legacy. Answer me. Who is helping you?
I mean, is he not understanding me?
Who let you in here?
I mean, your two guards out the door let me in.
Tough one. But even you must have your limits. And I am a patient man.
Right. Right. Okay. So, we're in the cell. We're gonna kick this rat while removing the feigned death pill, which was shot into Snake's leg, as well as a transmitter dug into his back. And we're gonna spin Snake around at least 10 times to make him, let's say, appear unwell to a certain guard.
What's wrong? You okay?
Snake must have partied too hard.
Oh, jeez. Did you throw up?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Johnny. But not for this. Alright, so we're gonna beat up Johnny to get his smoke grenades, because we will need them to escape. Along with using the rat that we kicked in the cell. Because, again, we can't use the silent footstep with either a throwable item or, grenades. And, okay, unfortunately I did this the wrong way. So I'm going to try to do a backup here. Which I'm going to take the long way around. Normally you wouldn't want to go this way. Because it does take you a little bit out of your way. But since I messed up the initial throw, which is important to get right, it's going to make, getting through that part of the prison, next to impossible without some kind of a distraction.
Who was that?
Don't mind me, just passing through. Because as you can see, my index is in the negatives, because I'm quite literally just, shirtless. Don't have any camo index of my own other than just, skin and, well, I guess apparently they left his pants on, so they, spared him some dignity. Alright, so now we're in the northwest section where the escape hatch is. I'm gonna throw one smoke here. And then we're gonna carefully throw the second smoke right over there. Wait for it to deploy. And then we're just gonna roll our way through while carefully not disturbing the sleeping doggo, which I think I woke him up and I messed up that follow-up roll for whatever reason. Okay, so the escape wasn't exactly ideal, but, it gets the job done. Alright, so nobody saw me, but somehow they knew I escaped. So the escape route that Eva had initially set up for Snake is now blocked off, and we have to go through the sewers Now, fortunately, we don't have to break Snake's leg going down here, because you may have noticed I equipped the cigar earlier during the prison break. And the reason for this is so that I have lower health going into the Sorrow, so I can just have a faster exit. Because using the cigar in combination with their RPG gives just enough damage dealt to just quickly take Snake out in one shot, to just, you know, exit out. Ooh, man, those dogs don't look happy. I think they're mad that I woke up that other dog up there. I mean, I don't know, maybe they want scritches? I don't know, maybe they want belly rubs? Maybe? Okay, no, they're not. Run! Run! Alright, so, once again, there's the Sorrow, there's the RPG, and, goodbye, Sorrow. Alright, so we're just gonna use the revival pill. And we're done. Alright, so we surfaced from the river that, you know, took us away during that jump off the canal. And we're just gonna roll our way up to the waterfall to, once again, rendezvous with Eva so we can get the rest of our gear. Okay, there's the loading zone right there. Yeah, so by having the transmitter removed, normally there would be an Ocelot unit waiting for Snake to ambush him, you know, on his way to the waterfall, but, you know, this way we don't have to deal with them. Alright, so because we came to the waterfall, which is considered like a key checkpoint in the game, you may have noticed that Snake's health and stamina are now completely recovered, as well as any injuries that he sustained. And then what we're going to be doing now is, after all this time, besides wrecking that door, is we're now finally going to use the box. Now, I know I said earlier that the box wasn't as helpful, but it is still helpful for one other part of the game, which is going to warp us in to the hangar via one of the trucks. Alright, so we're just going to set up our equipment here, which also includes the sneaking suit. It's a New Game Plus carryover, which you get from the locker that you stashed Rykov in during the first visit. It negates, you know, half damage, which is really nice, as well as, you know, lowering stamina consumption. But for now, we're going to equip the spider camo one more time, while carefully not waking up the doggo. And we're just going to run past everybody, including that guard up in that tower. And once we're past this bridge, we'll swap it right back to sneaking suit. And this is the camouflage that we're going to be using for the rest of the game. It's got good, decent index indoors. And the damage protection is also very, very useful. So we're now transported into the hangar disguised as a box. So now we're going to be planning C3 on 4 of the fuel tanks for the Shagohod's booster fuel. Alright, so we're going to shoot that guard, which I actually got right away, so that was really nice. And by shooting off a stray round, it sends the remaining guards into a panic. Except for the maintenance technicians, they're not bothered by the fact that a stray round just, I don't know, struck near one of the fuel tanks, but they're, I don't know, also not disturbed by the fact that there's a box just running right by them. I mean, I guess in this environment, seeing a cardboard box with legs is nothing unusual. Alright, so I'm just gonna do a quick unequip here just to make sure that the spot is clear. Okay, so that's what I was concerned about. This guy loves turning around on me, and I'm surprised I didn't get spotted. Because when the suppressor goes off like that, my camo index drops to -100 the minute it gets blown off. So the fact that I didn't get spotted is actually a miracle right now, because that would have been a really unfortunate setback at this point in the run. Alright, so now we're coming up against Volgan. Like in the original game, he is weak to CQC as well as a few other things, but instead of using what would normally be the SVD, we're going to use the Mosin Nagant, because it turns out that the Mosin Nagant does some pretty sufficient damage to him versus the SVD. So we're going to shoot him in the back 3 times, make him turn a little bit. And we're going to shoot him in the head, hopefully 3 to 4 more times, which... Okay, unfortunately I didn't get, but that's okay. We'll just throw him down to the ground to end the first half. Alright, and then he's going to do this, like, widespread attack. And instead of crouch or going prone to dodge it, we're just going to roll right into it intentionally so we can gain iframes and then get a first grab. Alright, so now this is the part of the fight where things can get random. You know, like whether or not if he, you know, does that ranged attack or if he instantly recovers from being knocked down. It's all random. So every time he gets up normally, I'm just going to shoot him in the back of the head. And then every time he charges, I'll CQC to counter it and then throw him down to the ground. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we'll use the Mark 22 for the rest of it. Oh, I messed up. Alright, your move, Volgan. Alright, so that's another instant recovery. Alright, now he's gonna do this ranged attack. Okay, I didn't get the swap right away, but that's alright. I have enough health to withstand it. If you're quick enough, you can actually throw him down to the ground before he even hits you with it. But nicely done, all things considered. And maybe Volgan realized that we're doing a submission and he just wanted Snake to show off more of that judo, which actually it's called CQC, just so you know. Alright, so now we're going to be escaping out of the facility with Eva on the bike. And we're going to be using the RPG to deal at least some minor damage by aiming at the center chassis in between both of the Shekohat's treads. It does do a little bit of damage each shot that you get. And then we're using the Mosin Nagant because, I don't know, why the heck not? It looks cool. Alright, so again, I'm just trying to get every shot that I can, at least, well, on him, but not me. So there's times where I'll be aiming in over the shoulder, which is a, you know, convenient thing in new style versus aiming down the sight, because aiming down the shoulder is very inaccurate at times, but sometimes it's good enough depending on how close you are. But at other times I'll just use the scope just to make life easy.
Snake, behind you.
Oh, thank you, Eva. Also, as a fun fact, if you were to kill the maintenance techs in the hangar before planting the last, you know, C3 explosive, it actually will reduce the Shekohat's health off the top. But since it's not Foxhound friendly, meaning you can't, you know, do any kills, you know, we're unable to, you know, take advantage of that, you know, that feature. See if I can shoot the Kurotan again. All right, so from here on out until the runway, it's gonna be pretty standard. With some exceptions, and one of those is using the drum barrels. It will kill the guards without counting as a kill directly, but the barrels in this game are not as they're not as powerful as they were before. But you can use them, which I actually can't even see it now. And the forklift's blocking it. So the explosion radius of the drum barrels are not as wide as they used to be. So it won't like kill both guards at once as it normally would in the original game. Sometimes you can get lucky like I did right there, where you can get one guard knocking over into another, which, you know, is, you know, good enough. Oh, there's Gakko. Alright, so the guards' gunfire from their AKs and their handguns and Scorpions are pretty negligible to contend with the sneaking suit, but the RPGs still deal quite a bit of damage to Snake. So I will prioritize the RPG at all times, which includes this guard up here. Speaking of low health, my health actually was running a little bit low there. It was making me nervous. Alright, but we should be good from here on out because once we take out the side passengers of the bikes here that have the Scorpion SMGs, the drivers are then they're only left with just using the handgun against Snake, which does very little damage against the sneaking suit. And from here on out, other than seeing the bloodied jam on the screen, we just enjoy the bike ride and at least admire the scenery that we can see, given the, you know, the dirty camera. Hey, come on, you guys. I'm trying to admire the view here, and you keep dirtying up the camera. Well, as a side note, you actually can turn this off so it doesn't get in the way. You know, but for all purposes, you know, we're just gonna go with it. Also, 10 out of 10 explosion on those bikes. Alright, so now the Shagohod is going to be making its appearance again, but this time it's using its rocket boosters to greatly accelerate its speed. And then we're just going to take these bikes out, while then swapping to the SVD as well as the RPG, so we can continue doing damage to the Shagohod with the RPG, while then using the SVD to shoot down any missiles that should appear. But most of the time it shouldn't. Okay, so I made a mistake there when I hit the RPG's joints. It stopped it in place. Because again, you want to aim at that rectangular chassis you know, armor, because that's where the damage can be dealt. Oh, ignore Volgan. He just keeps telling me I either wasted my ammo, didn't feel a thing, or that's all I can manage. Nice little nod off to him doing that in the original game every time he gets hit. You know, I actually might have had a point. I think I did, in fact, waste my ammo during that. You know, but, you know, for today, we just, we just now focus on taking out the C3 explosives that Eva had planted on the bridge. They're in the same spots as before in the original game. The last one is on a column, which is clouded by smoke, which will clear up in just a few seconds.
Keep your aim steady.
Oh, my mistake, Eva.
Shagohod's not here yet. Keep your aim steady. It's here!
Alright, so that's it, right? Shagohod's done? As it turns out, nope, it is in fact not over. I mean, we still have, well, half a Shagohod to fight. So the back of the Shagohod is exposed where the armor is thin. And we will deal damage with that with the RPG while damaging the treads to disable it in place. And if timed just fast enough, it'll also stop him from counterattacking with missiles. So you'll see me hit one side of the treads over another, not only to just lock them in place, which I unfortunately didn't get, but also just to set up a shot on the back. Alright, so now I'll shoot the other one just to fully disable it. Well, that's a good thing, Volgan. Alright, so by shooting the other tread like that, it stopped him from doing a missile counterattack. While trying to set up a second hit, which... I'm gonna try it. Yeah, that's a tough shot. Okay, Volgan, you did in fact feel a thing. Alright, so now in the second half, Volgan is now powering the Shagohod himself. And now we're gonna have to attack him directly, using those, and while hoping we don't get run over by Eva. So we're just gonna damage the tread, disable the Shagohod while getting him to look away, so his front shield won't block any, you know, Mosin shots that I'll inflict on him. Okay, and then if I'm fast enough, I can hit him multiple times. Alright, so that one I was a little bit too slow. So here, we'll try it again. Alright, so that was Volgan, as well as the Shagohod fight. Now we're just doing the remainder of this bike section. Now just taking out the bike riders with the Mosin. Maybe take out a flyer because I feel like it. And we just enjoy the bike ride. Or at least try to, because, you know, because I took out those bikes in the back, they spawn new ones up front. But like before, if you take out the sidecar, it will, you know, it will minimize their capability of dealing severe damage because they have to use handguns from the driver. Alright, now we can enjoy the bike ride. Okay, I think we enjoyed it enough. Alright, sorry fellas, but this is where your part of the bike chase ends. Alright, so I'm gonna aim at this guard at the tank, followed by the ones next to the tank, and the one in the tower just for fun, which... Oh wait, did I actually get him? Wow, what a shot. Oh, so him falling off the tower like that does not count as a kill. I mean, gravity got him killed, not me. Alright, so I'm going to take out that RPG because I do not want to get hit by it. And if I can, shoot that guy because, I don't know, again, just, you know, I felt like it. Alright, so now we're dealing with these guys for the remainder of this part of Bike Escape. Now, normally in this part, you can opt to use either the sneaking suit or the Cold War camo, which prevents them from shooting at Snake if he's facing front towards the enemy. However, the Cold War camo is a little bit weird when it comes to this part of the game because Snake normally sits up to the front by default, and you have to physically turn him around in order for the Cold War camo to be effective. Because as you can see, each time I go to aim at the enemy and then lower my weapon, it makes me sit right back up front again. So it makes it very annoying when trying to, you know, use the Cold War camo, you know, effectively at all times. So this is where, in my opinion, the sneaking suit provides a lot of the benefit. Because these guys all have scorpions, which should do a lot of damage. my mistake. Yeah, you gotta shoot this log, because that'll also do a lot of damage to both Snake and Eva should she run into it. Alright, there we go. Oh, it'd be a shame if something happened to those two. Man, all that technology and they don't have brakes. Alright, so we're done dealing with the hovercraft and we're now back to dealing with just the bike riders again. Alright, so just take out the drivers because at this point they're going to spawn additional bikes anyway. You know, and thankfully we just haven't memorized, like, when, you know, the new bikes appear. Alright, so there should be another set off to my right here. Yeah, so aiming over the shoulder at this point is very challenging, so I'll use the scope at times just to, you know, make sure the shot will connect. Here, I'll try over the shoulder again. Oh, I got the passenger. Oh, there we go, I got the driver. But as you can see, like, it's not consistent. But it does look cool if you get it. Yeah, like, up close it's okay, but it's those, you know, longer range shots where it's pretty difficult. Whoa! Nailed the landing. That was nicely done, Eva. Alright, so we're coming up to the last forest section of the run, which we have to do a few things first. One is just finalize our equipment. We're gonna feed Eva noodles for doing a good job
Let me have some more.
with the bike. And then we're gonna fix her injuries because it is required to fix her injuries. Snake's injuries are irrelevant at this point because I have such high enough stamina that they'll just heal on their own. Now, we're supposed to let Eva follow us throughout this part of the game, but in this particular instance, we don't actually need to call her right away because this cutscene will happen regardless. But from this point forward, we do need her to follow along, so we're just gonna call her over, and then we're just gonna slowly, you know, walk our way through the forest. You know, so the main obstacle in this part is not necessarily the guards, but it's actually Eva, involving her movement specifically. You want to keep her moving at all times in a nice straight line and away from trees, in particular. Depending on how far away you are from her, she can take a really long path around a tree, which is really annoying when you're trying to go for a good time and you're at the mercy of Eva's footsteps. Alright, so that was pretty good, but that section's pretty straightforward. You just move ahead of the guards, but now we're going to be going into the other half of the forest where the guards are already in place and waiting for Snake. Alright, so I'm going to take out, let's see, that guard over there, followed by this one over the hill. Okay, and then try to get these other two, and then move Eva over. Followed by that guard off to the right. Wow, that actually went pretty well. Alright, so this is the part of the escort where she can take the long way around, which is around this tree, to be exact. All right, Eva, you're on the spot, so I trust you to not go around that tree. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, she's doing it. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be Metal Gear Solid 3 without Eva, you know, taking the long way around. Alright, so we're gonna kick this plant to make noise for a guard underneath this ledge that I'm on. While then shooting those two, followed by a third, which is around that corner. I'm gonna hop down, call Eva over, and then take out the last guard. And then we're gonna equip the Moza Nagant for the boss coming up in just a minute. Eva. You know we're supposed to be moving, right? I don't know. Maybe she's camera shy, but, you know, we do have a run to do here. Come on, Eva, you can do it. Alright, good job. I forgive you for going around the tree. Alright, so the boss fight is a little bit different from the original, but parts of it will be similar, so I'll try to explain it as it happens. So there's going to be an initial grab, which the counter timings are different. So I'm going to shoot her in the head twice, throw a stun on the floor, look away so I don't get blinded by it. And I'm going to shoot her in the head twice again, throwing another stun. Then we're going to do it again, and then if I'm lucky, maybe a third one will hit her, and most of the time it doesn't. Okay, so in this case, she's going to get up and do another grab, but because I have the fork equipped, it's going to do a different counter animation than the one before. And the reason for this is because it differentiates CQC counters when you have a melee weapon equipped versus being unarmed. And the melee weapon animation for the second counter is actually faster than the unarmed variation, and it just saves a couple of seconds, you know, for like every CQC encounter. Alright, couple more shots. Alright. Oh, I'm pretty far away up. I'm gonna try to get it. No, I didn't get to eat the tree python. Ah, that's a shame. It's just something I do for fun because I'm using the fork, which is a ridiculous item. And I figured Snake could have just used the snack, because I mean it is Snake Eater.
Take this. Keep it safe. It's our only hope.
A patriot? Why are you giving me this?
Jack. Or should I say, Snake. You're a wonderful man. Kill me. Kill me now. Do it.
I hate to do it, but it's gotta be done. Now, a nice little feature that they added to this game during this part is that when you actually make the shot, they have a haptic feedback feature on the trigger, so it actually gives a little bit of resistance to it. Yeah, I just thought that was a nice little, like, subtle addition they put in the game. Alright, so now we're going to be going up against Ocelot yet again. We're going to pick the left revolver because, like in the original, the left revolver is the one with the loaded bullet. Which, unfortunately, for me, it's a blank. Yeah, so nobody wins. Alright, So we're going to skip the rest of the cutscenes, including the credits, which in the original game we could not skip the credits. So it was a very nice thing just for speedrunners. As well as, you know, I guess casually if you just don't want to watch the credits. But time is going to come up right now. So we got a final in-game time of 107.20 with a RTA time of 108.48. With the Chameleon rank, which is indicating that I avoided detection at all times. But unfortunately, because of the Fury, I did take a death, which would have been a Foxhound rank in its place. So that was European Extreme 90% on New Game Plus on the PlayStation 5. Thanks again for watching this submission video. And, you know, thanks again for your time and consideration for, you know, this marathon submission.